So, good evening, friends. Welcome to sixth and the last session of a workshop Media Semiotics, a course on cultural analysis and research. Our today's topic is soap opera, web series, and adaptations. So, let's move forward. This is our statutory note. The material that we're using are for purely academic purposes and research. So we begin with Indian TV content, modern soap operas. Primarily, the word soap opera is related with the beginning of the radio programs uh, targeting the family audience, and they were sponsored by the products related to the soap and detergents. And this is how the name soap opera has survived mythically. So what we have on Indian television, the Indian television content takes care of all types of spectators. There are family dramas, business, rivalry, comedy in different forms, crime and real life reality talent shows, and celebrity reality shows. All these types of contents are easily available in Indian television. For example, the first type and the uh, kind of program that gets maximum TRP on Indian prime time, which are the family drama. For example, Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, where a huge family from a rich background are shown, and their day-to-day issues and the life and the kind of problems they are facing will be shown there. On the extreme, you have programs like this where the celebrities are challenged to take up certain tasks. Okay, for example, Khatro Ke Khiladi, and there are many such programs available. So these are called celebrity reality shows. Even Big Boss was a kind of uh, in the same category. Again, Kasauti Zindagi Ki, it was later on turned out to be a family drama, but it was actually started as a kind of rivalry between two business groups, and later on it turned into more of a family drama. Then this is something very unique to Indian television, Saas, Bahu, or Sajis. Okay. This basically comes on news channels. Okay, and in it is a kind of news of the TV serials going on different channels. Okay, so basically it is a content based on a content, news of the things which were not real. Okay, basically we expect that the news talks about the reality, but here the news is about the serials, that what happened in the serial last week, and what are the future possibilities of that serials. Okay, so I haven't seen this kind of content on other countries platforms. Then we have reality shows related with the crime. For example, Crime Patrol, they claim that whatever cases they are showing, they were all real, but at the end they give a kind of ethical statement that no matter how clever the criminal is, he or she will be captured by the law, by the police. So that ethical issue will remain as a conclusion of this program, but at the same time they tell the audience that we have to be more cautious. Then we have programs like Bhabhi Ji Ghar Par Hai. Okay. Initially, when it started, I thought that it was a kind of remake or modern avatar of older program Sriman Ji, Srimati Ji. But uh, Babiji Ghar Par Hai is a different type of comedy where on a surface you see a very um, what we call naughty type of comedy, which includes uh, say at the beneath you see a lot of taboo issues shown indirectly. Okay. Then we have talent shows like Indian Idol, and in these talent shows, like there are talents related with singing, dancing, acting, stand-up comedy, and there are judges. There are different categories, and these shows, like talent shows and reality shows, they are directly dependent on the what we call voting of the audience. So there is a different type of revenue generation associated with it. And then we can have the clean type of comedy in programs like Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma. Basically, there is a column by Tarak Mehta. He's a famous Gujarati writer who used to write in magazine Tarak Mehta Na Ulta Chashma. So all these characters are taken from the writer that Tarak Mehta used to write, but the actual content is different. Only the characters are borrowed from that. Okay. So there, that society they are living in is projected as a metonymy of India, where everybody is there. Okay, there is a Gujarati family, there is a Marathi family, there is a Punjabi person, his wife is Parsi, and there is a South Indian person whose wife is Bengali, and, and then there is a Muslim character. Okay, so they are trying to show a kind of miniature India through this program. So primary themes in Indian TV series, when we look at them, family drama, romance, business rivalry, situational comedy, crime, talent shows, talk shows, supernatural and horror shows, fantasy and mythic hero. All these are the normal content targeting different types of audience. But what is interesting is we are missing the political, religious, and social satires. They are not available on our television nowadays. Even in stand-up comedy, they have to be very cautious about it. So all the satirical, especially the political satirical comedies, goes to the what we call online platforms. Okay, so TV stand-up comedy has a very different type of attitude. So the question of satires is lost from it. Like some years back, we had programs like Office or G Mantri Ji, which were actually a direct satire on our political situations and our say conditions of the common man. But these things are missing now. So the kind of programs we are offered is like the talk show Coffee with Karan, which is basically a celebrity talk show. There will be some invited celebrity, and the host himself is a celebrity, and there will be question answers and all about the personal life and likings and dislikings of the celebrity. And such shows are famous because we are interested in the personal lives of the celebrities. Then we also have programs like Dance India Dance and singing challenges and all. One of the best thing that could happen with these programs is we start recognizing the real talent working behind the screen of the cinema. We start knowing who are the singers, we start knowing who are the dancers and choreographers. So that is one thing that happened because of this. And plus we also got some new talents from it. Then we have series based on mythologies. We had Ramayana, Mahabharata. There was a series called Sri Krishna. There was a series Shiva Parvati, and all those kind of mythological series based on the mythological books available. We had a series called Sai Baba. Okay. So all these have their own fan base, and that they have a particular what we call viewership. The primary role of these kind of series is to instill the idea of religiosity, spirituality, and ethics in the viewers. Okay. So they have their own role to play in our society. Then we also have series on mythic characters or the fantasy characters like Aladdin, or we also have Tenali Raman. We also had the stories of Birbal. Though Birbal was considered to be a historical character and he was part of Akbar's what we call palace, but the stories that we are reading and watching on the say various platform, they may not be historically correct. So this is where the kind of fantasy enters. Okay. Then we also had a series called Hakim. Okay. And we also have series like Fear Files, okay, which is basically supernatural horror series. And many a times, many of these series claim that they are basically showing the real events, the real stories. So the horror and supernatural they were talking about, they are implying that they were all real. Okay, it's not just a fantasy or a story. Like this particular show, they say that um, डर की सच्ची तस्वीरें. So whatever they were showing on the name of horror and supernatural, they claim that they were all correct and they were all truthful. So how to read the television series? So watching television, we need to understand the context how we watch the television. Watching television is primarily a public viewing. That is, we normally watch the television programs with the entire family. And because it is a public viewing, it is a family viewing, it is happening in a public space, and that is why the content presented on television has to be clean and devoid of all the taboo forms. Okay. Many times what happens that the program running on the TV set and we keep on doing something else, primarily because we are there in the living room because we want to be with our family. We may not be interested in the program, but certain family members are interested in the program, and we want to share some time with our family members, and that's why we stay with them. So your primary purpose is not watching the program but to be with the family. So that is another important aspect of Indian television programs, that if it is happening in the private space or it is talking about the taboo issues, then probably you won't be sharing that space with your family watching that program. Okay. Then our TV serials lack the basic standard narrative form of beginning, middle, and end. So what normally happens is that when the serial begins, major characters are introduced, and then there will be crucial points. The middle part is going on, but the moment it gets concluded, there will be another issue coming. So there is no proper conclusion and the end in the TV series. Okay. So that is something unique about serials when we compare it with the films, because films have this constant narrative and there is an end. You expect that end, but in serial the ends are not expected. So when you the characters solve one particular issue, then probably there will be a new issue, a new character, and that character will bring in new problems. So there will be again a new middle. Okay. The other characters are known, but then there will be a new problem which need to be solved. So there will be an extension of ends. And many times what happens that because certain serials lose TRP, they will be stopped from in between. There will be no clear conclusions about the series. Many times you don't even realize what happens with the certain characters because they are completely gone, they are completely disappeared, and suddenly they come out from somewhere because it was a need of TRP. So the television medium makes use of visual and oral signs. That is, there are visual camera work, music, and everything is there. Oral, that is, there are different dialogues, and you can listen to the music. There will be text. So both these types of codes are used to create a content for television. Visual signs sometimes are iconic and denotative, that they refer to people presented. Like you can see that here they represent certain characters, and uh, you can identify that this person belongs to a particular class of people. This particular heroine belongs to a particular class of people. But iconically, you know the actor, you know that they are actors. Symbolically, they play certain characters, so you look for the character traits. For example, in this particular series, it was called Kumkum Bhagya. The hero was always presented like this. His clothes were also abnormal, uh, considering the kind of class he comes from, because he's a rock star. So the kind of character portrayed is like he's an easygoing person. He doesn't care about many things, and that's why he's presented this way. Thank you, beta ja. હારું જતો રહે. Then they are also coded and rely on the science and codes of composition. The kind of codes of compositions are used in uh, cinema, that is also used here. So what happens is, the signs and codes, perspectives, and framings are required in order to create the kind of information that they want to convey. So they have to create the character of certain class, they have to create the background of certain class, they have to uh, develop a particular perspective on them. Loud and associative music is used to denote important characters and moments. Many times, music is directly connected with a particular character. For example, yesterday I gave the example of Kamalika from Kasoti Jindagi Ki. Even in the new series, she was given the similar kind of iconic music. That by music itself, you realize that she is a villain. Okay. So that association is created with her. Then the music is used to create an impact, that this is an important aspect of the series. So like you, they know that you are in your home, and you are looking at uh, many other things while watching this particular series. And that is why when there is a crucial moment in the show, they will use a very loud music, so they can attract the uh, what we call audience's attention. So this is something very important. The music is used very iconically in television series. And many a times, even this kind of comedy programs, they also use the, say, laughing track behind the program, so audience know when to laugh. Then replay of same moment is used to emphasize the moment. So like someone says something, and that dialogue is repeated with the frame of different characters, so that you can see the emotion of all the characters with the dialogue. So the dialogue is repeated 3 4 5 times. Okay. So that is to emphasize the moment, that it is an important thing. Family animosity is shown through business rivalry. Okay. Like there are two different business groups, and they fight with each other. For example, as I said, Kasoti Jindagi Ki was about the Basus and Bajaj families. There was earlier there was a series called Parivartan, where they talk about the families called Ajmera and Singhania. Okay. So those kind of rivalry are projected in the level of family. And there are comparatively more series dominating business class families. You will see rich people more in TV serials. Okay. The middle class, lower middle class are not very visible. And many times, most of the families belong to Gujarati or Punjabi background. There are very few series on Marathi background. There are very few series on Rajasthani background. South Indian background is not yet shown in Hindi TV serials. Maybe one or two characters be South Indian. And this particular Kasuti Jindagi talks about the Bengali family, but majority of them are rich class. Heroes are normally rich, and heroines come from middle class background. That is, hero is a CEO of a company, and heroine is his secretary. So, and then there is a love story. So that kind of conflict is very normal in this kind of series. You find medium shots in series because it shows that they are just with us in our living room. Okay. We don't see much close up or long shots. Okay. So most of the scenes you will say what we call shoulder height shots, medium shots. So you realize that the way we are sitting in our living room or standing in our living room, the same way the characters in the program, they are also sitting and standing. It's a kind of mirror that the other side of the television are also living room, and they are people like us. So very what we call close-up shots mean they are trying to create the distance which they don't want to, because they want to make those characters part of your family. And very close shots, okay, it will show the proximity. Okay, so that is why you will see more of the medium shots, shoulder height shots. Okay. Then reading television, what are the things that we'll have to take care of? Time dimension is completely neglected. Okay, so you don't get the authentic time dimension in any of our TV serials. Okay, there is no continuity in terms of time. And middle-aged couples are in lead role. Contrary to cinema, in cinema we have the couple in their mid 20s are normally the uh, what we call lead roles. But in TV series, couple who are in their mid 30s are the lead role, because they want to show the maturity and the people who can handle the family issues. So most of the what we call dominating lead roles are from the middle aged couple. Time jumping is a normal phenomena. Okay, that if they feel that yes, this is a small conclusion, and we don't think that this particular kind of story will move ahead, then they will jump in time. There will be 10 years of gap, and after 10 years, what happens in the family? Okay, so from next week onwards, there will be 10 years of gap. So there will be one white what we call a chunk of hair in the head of the lead roles, and they are 10 years older. So 7 years, 10 years of jump is very normal in our TV serials. Then return of the dead characters are pretty normal. Okay. The character dies, we go to the funeral, and everything happens. Okay. Still, the character comes alive. Okay. So that is basically a requirement of the TRP, that certain character dies and TRP comes down, and that's why they need to bring the character again. Okay. So that is a basic game of TRP, which doesn't happen in other societies, other TV platforms of other countries. Change of the heart of the characters is very frequent. You will never realize that except the hero and the villain, okay, that is lead roles, uh, everyone is in a dicey condition, dubious moral. Okay, they may support hero, they may support villain, and you there is no logic. Okay, they start supporting heroes suddenly, and then they start opposing them suddenly. There is no logic, there is no explanation for it. Then the standard desirable, that is beautiful and sanskari female protagonists are the norm. Okay, beautiful, that is for the male counterpart, sanskari for the family. sake. So that is the basic requirement of the female protagonist, and most of the TV serials in India are female dominating TV serials. Happy and rich families are projected, so most of the families are rich. They are not worried about bread and butter. So, and they always talks about billions and millions. So this is something unique in our TV serials, while we are considered to be the underdeveloped country. So this is a poster of Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki. You can see that the eldest members of the family are in the center. They sat in a sofa. Then all the children of the family are on the ground, and the what we call sons and the what we call wives of them are standing behind the elders. So basically, it's a kind of message conveyed that these are the backbone. They will take care of all of these. Okay, so this is a kind of message they convey. Second thing is the female characters are surrounded by the male characters. Okay, there is a female character, there is a one, there are two. So it is conveyed that they are in a safe and secure position. They will be supported by the males of the family. Similar things happen here. This is from Khichdi. So the female characters are here, the children are on the front, and the sons are in the back. And this was the director of that series and the movie as well. And these are the sanskari bahus of our television programs. Okay. They have a very specific role to play in. So what is happening? They are all beautiful. They are all fair, and they are all well embellished. They are all wearing very good clothes, even if they are working in their kitchen. They are well packed up, full of makeup, and all types of ornaments will be there. So this is a kind of effect created for the male audience probably, or a kind of message conveyed to the female that whatever you do, you have to be beautiful. Reading reality shows on our television, presenting and talking about more emotional aspects in almost everywhere. The reality shows emphasize a lot on the emotional aspect. Okay, so there will be background stories of the participants, and they show their poor condition and family issues and their personal problems and everything, so that they can create an emotional bond for them. Okay, the audience feel for the participants. So that is one of the most important characteristic of Indian reality shows. Then using the rivalry of the characters in the shows. For example, programs like Big Boss, they create the content or task in a way that there will be fight between the two opposing or rivals in the program. Like in the last Big Boss, okay, last season of Big Boss, we have seen a lot of fights of Siddharth and this boy, what is his name, Asim Riaz. Okay, so that is again a kind of emotional attachment that you have to create for one side. Okay, and that is the basic requirement. Then allowing possible fake relations to gain TRP, and that also happened in Big Boss and many other uh, reality shows. The judgments are contaminated by the comments of experts and judges, though it is decided by the public votes. But it is said by reality shows that the more a person gets the votes, uh, the particular participant will win. But issue here is there are experts. I'm watching, let's say, a singing show, but I don't know anything about singing. Okay, so I will be listening to these experts who will say that, oh, you have sang well, or sang you have sung very badly. So because of those comments by the experts, I will form a kind of bias in my mind, because I am not an expert in the field. So this is where the public votes will be directly affected. Then stage fights are used. Okay, there will be fights like even in the award shows nowadays. Those stage fights are very normal. Okay. Then celebration of festivals and films promotion. If you see a Kapil Sharma show, it completely runs on promotion of coming movies. And almost all reality shows, singing shows, dancing shows, they take help of those promoters. So whichever film comes, their directors or the actors will come into the show. So there will be promotion, and then celebration of almost all festivals uh, will be used. Okay. Here what is interesting that even in TV serials, which are basically a narrative and they go according to the story, they don't lose any opportunity to celebrate the particular festival, because that celebration means one episode they don't have to worry about the content. Okay. They just talk about the celebration, everybody is doing party or playing Holi or Diwali, so that becomes a lesser headache for them. Plus that also creates a kind of cultural significance, cultural association with the audience. And then there is mega episode, like even most of the what we call talent shows, their last certain shows will be mega episodes. So normally it comes for 1 hour, but mega shows will be more than 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay. So they get more TRP, they get a lot of promotion and all those things. Plus that happens in TV serials also. Like there are two TV serials coming one after the other, and they develop mega show of two TV series. So if it comes for half an hour, there will be 1 hour TV serial, and both the characters from both the TV series will be together. Okay, and this will help them in gaining the audience of one TV series to another TV series. Okay. Similarly, in India, this is something interesting. Uh, Kumkum Bhagya was a very famous and uh, very what we call TRP wise uh, very highly recommended series. So what these people did is they created another narrative, and they said that the heroine of Kumkum Bhagya had two sisters, and they started another TV series of those two sisters, which was called Kundli Bhagya, and they come one after the other. Though those characters never meet, they were sisters, but they never meet in any of the series. But because they are connecting the second series with the first series, they will automatically get the audience of first series to the second series. So this is something very unique to Indian audience. Then second point that I want to discuss today is web series. The most important thing about web series is freedom of content. That is, web series uh, don't have a specific time limit. Okay, like the kind of time limit we have in cinema, and that is why they get around 8 to 9 hours to complete one season of the series. So directors get enough time to develop the character and theme well. This is one type of freedom, the freedom of producing and going into depth of the theme. That is one freedom. Second, uh, there is no what we call regulatory body on web series. Okay, and that is why they can deal with any kind of subject. They can show different types of violence and nudity and vulgarity, and they can use foul and violent language, abusive words are used. So that is another type of freedom. So they can uh, represent the reality more accurately than what we tend to see in TV serials. So why that happens? That we find everything in web series that is not available in TV series. Primarily because it is released on online platform and its viewership will be personal. Okay, that is, you will watch the web series in a personal way. You don't watch it in the living room of your family. You will be watching it on your mobile, on your laptop, on your PC. Okay, so it is watched in the privacy. Okay, while the TV serials are watched in public space. Okay, while this one is watched in personal space. Okay, we watch it alone in a private space. Hence, everything taboo, profane, gory is allowed. Plus, their primary target is the young generation who are very good at handling the different types of technological instruments. Okay, and that is why all these kind of what we call subjects are readily accepted. The subject matter is also contrastively different from the TV shows. Violence, nudity, and cuss words are very normal, which we don't see in TV. Plus, there will be newer uh, areas. Okay, for example, in TV serials, normally they talk about Bombay or Delhi, and in one or two serials they talk about other cities. But here on websites and online content, they have included the areas like UP, Bihar, Uttaranchal, which were not there in the TV serials. Television serials were lacking those kind of representation. There were some serials related with UP and Bihar, but it was more to do with the comedy. Here we have Sacred Games, the first ever web series from India, and the first what we call season of Sacred Games was very very successful globally. Okay, and it is also based on a novel. It is adapted from a novel. Second series of Sacred Games was not as successful as the first series. Then we have Mirzapur, where they are take they're talking about a town called Mirzapur, uh, and it is related with a what we call violence and politics. Okay, the primary theme is about the relationship between a father and a son, two pairs of father and son. So here you have a lot of violence, but non uh, what we call frontal nudity, but there are a lot of abusive and cuss words used. Upharan was again a crime drama, and it also talks about UP Bihar. Okay. Then we have four more shorts, please, which is a series about four what we call middle, say mid 20 aged girls. Okay, and their bonding and the feminine sexuality. Basically, this was the Indian version of HBO original uh, Sex and the City. Okay. So here they are talking about the upper class females and independent female. Web series, again, freedom of content. Themes like violence, terrorism, sexuality, right wing politics, underworld, black market, vanity of the rich class, psychological thrillers, etc., are dealt with effectively in the web series, which were missing earlier from TV shows. Good directors and actors also become part of series due to online platforms. So this is something very interesting that uh, normally what happens that if you become successful in TV serials, then you get a chance in cinema. But here what happens that the mainstream cinema actors are also becoming part of web series. Okay. So dark realities of our social, political, and emotional lives are well captured in various web series. Series like Pathal Lok, that is a wrong spelling, expresses all the real issues of our society. Okay. And media's take on it quite realistically and convincingly. For example, Pathal Lok deals with crime, then casteism, relation between the caste and crime. Then there is a very interesting theme about the religious stereotyping. Then it also talks about the political agenda and caste politics. It also talks about the issues of middle-aged or middle-class people. Okay, so there are many issues interwoven in a simple story of Patal Lok. Okay, it is worth a watch. They haven't used any frontal nudity, but there are a lot of abusive words. There are a lot of curse words. Okay. Then there was a series like Asura, which was a psychological thriller about uh, serial killer, but it also relates a lot with the mythology. So it becomes an interesting watch if we are interested in mythological symbolism. Goal, which was our second India's second web series, which was again dealing with the terrorism, supernaturalism, uh, and how a particular agent deals with the supernatural aspect. So it is again a psychological thriller. Okay, and again a female character, uh, that is Radhika Apte, was in the lead role. So web series, again, uh, the political satire and the social satires have also easily made their way on online platforms. Series like Leela by Prayag Akbar, it was a novel by Prayag Akbar, uh, presents the darker issues related with identity politics and fascism. Quota Factory is a satire on our education system. Series like Gullak uh, brings day-to-day life of lower middle class people and their struggle for survival. Okay, so they don't talk about the business man and the business rivalry and well-decked and very rich kind of women. Okay, it's just a lower class people and how they live their life, what are the problems they are facing, and how they enjoy the moments. Okay. Then this was a series called Panchayat, which deals with the issue of a small village, okay, an interior village, and what we call administrative problems and different issues related with the handling of villages. Okay, it is a clean kind of uh, web series and a light-hearted comedy. The third point that I want to talk about today is adaptation, that is narrative across the medium. What is adaptation? An altered and amended version of a text, musical composition, etc. One adapted for filming, broadcasting, or production on the stage from a novel or similar literary source. Okay. So if a movie is made from a novel, it is called adaptation. Okay, it is the adaptation of a novel in the form of movie. It is also called intersemiotic translation from one type of signs. Say for example, novel is a linguistic sign, written linguistic sign, which is adopted into a movie. Then it is adopted into the codes of movie, the sign system of cinema. So there is a change in the representation. So what are the issues that we have to deal with? Adaptation is one of the most important areas to be worked upon in comparative literature, okay, like translation. So here what we have to think is that when a book is adapted into a movie, what are the changes that the director makes? Okay, that there were certain things in the book which are not presented in the movie, and there were certain things which were not present in the book but presented in the movie. So why director is making these changes? Okay, so that is our concern. What are the cultural or media related aspects because of which the directors had to make those changes? For example, Devdas, the novel by Sarad Babu, is one of the most adopted text in India. Okay. So these are the three films that I have put the posters of. There was one version of Devdas even before Bimal Roy's Devdas came into picture. There was an older version of Devdas as well. So here, this Devdas by Bimal Roy was made in 1963. Okay, this Devdas is a kind of modern Devdas by Sanjay Leela Bhansali, and this is a kind of postmodern Devdas, which is Dev D, okay, made by Anurag Kashyap. Okay. And there was one more by Sudhir Mishra, which was entitled Das Dev. Okay. So now what are the changes they have made? That becomes very important. And you can, when you compare all these texts, you can see that even across the films you will find many changes. Okay. So why the directors are making those changes? That should be our interest, the interest of the research. Similarly, all three tragedies of Shakespeare have been adopted in Hindi films. All three were adopted by Vishal Bhardwaj. Othello was presented as Omkara. Othello was a Negro, and Desdemona was a fair girl, and that's why Desdemona's father was not ready to accept Othello as a husband of Desdemona. Okay, so that was the basic issue about them. And Iago, the villain, wanted a certain position in the what we call near people of Othello. So that was the story. Now in Omkara, we can't talk about the Negro and a white person. So director has to adopt this particular text into a kind of Indian way. So he differentiates in terms of caste, that Desdemona belongs to a higher caste, while the Othello, that is Omkara, belongs to a lower class or lower caste, and that is why there was a kind of conflict. Now Iago, that is Langda Tyagi in Omkara, had a particular ambition which was not fulfilled, uh, and that is why there was the entire tragedy. So director has very interestingly uh, fit the story into Indian culture and context so that we can enjoy the originality of Othello. Similarly, Macbeth was a different type of story. Um, so Makbul is made into an underworld story where Makbul is fighting and has an ambition to attain the highest position, that is of Abbaji, that is the king of underworld at that time. And Heather is basically uh, a mixture of two books. One is Hamlet. Second was a book called Curfew Nights by a Kashmiri writer. So both these books have been used to adapt the Heather. So they just don't talk about the uh, issue of Hamlet, that he was unable to take the decision to kill his uncle, but it also includes the issue related with the Kashmiri people and the state of Kashmir. So that is a very interesting text that Vishal Bhardwaj develops uh, through adaptation. If he had made a simple film on Kashmir, probably people will not have been talking about it. But because there is Hamlet involved with the issue of Kashmir, it becomes a point of discussion. People take it seriously. So that is why the selection of such particular text is also important. Similarly, there is Satranj Ke Khiladi by Satyajit Ray, which was made from uh, Munshi Premchand's short story Satranj Ke Khiladi. I'll give you a little more explanation about this kind of adaptations. So what happens here is there are some TV series, television series are also adapted from famous books, like mythological television series are based on mythological books. There are series based on fantasy books and comics. Okay. For example, we have Mahabharata, Ramayana, we have cartoon of Chota Bheem. Okay, so all these are kind of Vikram Vetal was a series. Okay, then there are many such fantasy books and mythological books are involved. So that is also a type of adaptation. Interestingly, interesting thing is there are a lot of cultural and narrative changes made to present onto the screen, that when you adapt you will have to make certain changes, because when you read a book it is happening, that process of reading is happening in a private space. But when you are watching a series on television, that watching of it is happening in a public space, especially in a family domain. So you cannot present certain codes because they are considered taboo. And that's where you will have to make changes in terms of presentation. You will have to fit the text, the original text, into the codes of visual medium, and you will have to consider who will be your audience and where and when that audience will be watching it. So certain characters and things will be deleted from the original text. So the movie Satranj Ke Khiladi was based on a short story by Munshi Premchand. The story was only of 3 pages, which depicts two Nawabs obsessed with playing chess. The movie incorporates the entire state of Awadh, an entire sequence on Bahadur Shah Jafar. Okay. Because Bahadur Shah Jafar was also an artist, not just a king, and he was more indulged in his artistic activities, and that's why he was unable to understand and counter the politics of East India Company, and ultimately he was captured by the British people. So all those things are very significantly and symbolically expressed in the movie, while in the story there is only one line about Bahadur Shah Jafar. So by incorporating the background history, the movie becomes a very powerful satire on the political situation of the country of the time. Then if we look at the movie Dev D, okay, it's a modern adaptation of Bengali novel Devdas by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay. Here, the director recreates the narrative in terms of time and space. The narrative of Devdas took place in uh, Kolkata and Bengal before a century, while the narrative of Dev D is taking place in Punjab and Delhi, and it is modern. Okay, so there is a huge change of the background. The mentality of the people are also different. So Anurag Kashyap, the director of the movie, said that the tragedy of Devdas was uh, because of the absence of communication, and the casteism was also a problem there. But in modern times, there is an abundance of communication. The tragedy results because of the ego. Okay. When if you have seen the movie, uh, the Paro and Devdas were actually communicating through SMS and Yahoo Messenger. They used to exchange the pics. Okay, and even the Devdas father told Devdas in the movie, that is Dev D, that I wanted you to get married to Paro, but you seem to like different types of girls. Okay, so both these problems of communication and casteism were not an issue there. Okay, the issue was the ego. The modern what we call subjects are full of ego, and this is where the tragedy enters. But Devdas is not Dev D is not the tragedy in the strictest sense of the word, because the hero doesn't die in the end. So mythological adaptations of series like Mahabharata and Ramayana also made a lot of changes in the original to fit into the narrative of visual code, that how it should be presented. That was a very big issue. Then Alif Layla, the fantasy also changed a lot. If you read uh, the original book, and if you have seen the series, there is a drastic difference between the imaginary and the kind of scenery provided on television. Okay. The Oscar winner film Slumdog Millionaire was also an adaptation of an Indian novel entitled Q&A by Vikas Swarup. But again, they had to make a lot of changes to make the movie worthy of the screen. So, one of the important theorists in adaptation talks about six important aspects of adaptation. The first is called viewer as a reader, varieties of interpretations, that how viewer interprets the text, that is very important. Then the filmmaker as a reader, the question of fidelity, because when filmmaker takes up a particular text to uh, make an adaptation from it, primarily that movie becomes the interpretation of the director. Okay, so you may lose certain aspects from the movie. Okay, that you expect, like when you read the book you expect certain things, there are certain themes, but when you watch the movie they may lack certain parts of it. Then point of view of the director, that from which perspective the director wants to make the movie. Style and tone, for example, the movie probably is sorry, the text probably is serious one, while movie is made in a very light manner. Okay, so there is this change of tone. If the novel is not very dark, the movie is made into a very dark uh, film. Okay, so that is also a possibility. The metaphor, symbols, allegory, okay, they are also very important, because kind of symbolism you use in writing, can you use the same type of symbolism in visual codes? Okay, suppose you want to talk about some particular character as his characteristics like a snake, but that you can write in the text, you can write in the novel. But if you want to show that in the what we call cinema, okay, then you will have to generate your own symbolism uh, to convey that idea. You can, or you will have to put that thing in somebody's mouth that he is like a snack. Okay, or you will have to use the narrator to tell those things. Then interiors, like how you express the thoughts, dream, inner actions and all those things in cinema when you are adapting from the book. I'll give you a few examples. um, when you watch the movie Saudagar by Subhas Ghai, as a uh, viewer we understand that this movie is what we call inspired by Romeo and Juliet. The only difference is Romeo and Juliet is about the lovers, while Saudagar the movie is about the family members, the heads of the family, and to bring them back. They want to revert the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. So that as a viewer, as a watcher, we understand, and probably the makers also know that. But it is not an adaptation in a strictest sense, because they don't acknowledge the original text. Similarly, Makbul and Vishal Bhardwaj Makbul and Akira Kurosawa's Throne of Blood, both of them were adopted from Macbeth. But while adopting Macbeth, Vishal Bhardwaj changes the scenario, and he doesn't talk about a king, but he talks about an underworld don. He talks about the politics of Mumbai, okay, and the relationship with the underworld. In the original text, there were uh, the witches, okay, who made the prophecy about Macbeth's becoming the king. In this Makbul film, there are two police officers. Both of them are Brahmin, Pandit and Purohit. So they are using Kundali of the characters, and with the help of those kundali, they were making the prophecies. Okay, which is a very very significant aspect, and it is symbolically very important, because these kind of pandits and purohits were used by our kings in the past to know about their future and what will happen. Okay, so same thing is adapted here to create that symbolic aspect of our tradition. Well, if we move to Japanese adaptation of Macbeth, it is a hardcore, what we call Japanese movie, but he doesn't change anything from the drama Macbeth. Okay, it is about a king. It is about a warrior who has an ambition to achieve the position of the king, and he is supported by the Lady Macbeth, his wife. So all those things are used there. But then, if we talk about the symbolism, okay, then in the drama it is written and it is enacted on stage, that how they start visualizing various things and they start feeling that guilt. Okay, in the Japanese version, what happened, the use of the full body, what we call top, they are wearing in Japan, and they are walking on the wooden surface. So the voice coming from that wooden surface and kimono was used to show their anxiety and how they are afraid now. Okay, so their voice is used symbolically. Okay, so they have used diegetic sound to create those symbols. Then if you watch the Tamil film Ravanan or Hindi film Ravan, basically it is an adaptation from Ramayana. Okay, but in Ramayana the hero is Ram, while here director is taking a different point of view. He is presenting the story, especially the abduction of Sita and fight with Ram, from the perspective of Ravan. Okay, so Ravan becomes the hero here. So the director doesn't want to talk about the entire Ramayana, he just want to talk about the perspective of Ravan. And this is a kind of point of view in most of the adaptations that we see. Okay, suppose there is a very interesting book and interesting poem by Rabindranath Tagore, Karnakunti Sambad, where Rabindranath Tagore uses only one particular sequence where before the war of Mahabharata, uh, the Kunti comes to visit Karna and tells him that he is also her son, and that particular sequence is used, okay, to make the entire poem. This is a different type of adaptation. Now here in this particular poem, the Karna is the hero. In Mahabharata he is not, but here he is. So that is a kind of stand the writers and the directors take in order to adapt a particular work. Then this is again a Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa called Rashomon. Okay. The film is based on two short stories by Akutagawa. He is considered to be the father of Japanese short stories. So there are two short stories, In a Groove and Rashomon, and there is one film based on these two short stories. So, and Rashomon is a kind of reading of these two stories by Akira Kurosawa, and he uses a lot of symbolism which were not possibly available in the original Japanese text, the short stories. Like the sword was used as a symbol of phallus masculinity, while dagger was used as a symbol of what we call femininity. Even the get of Rashomon is used as a decadence of Japanese society and culture. So those symbolisms become very important. The way the entire story is projected is very important. And if you are interested in film studies, this is the film that you must see. This is narratologically an important film to understand, and there is a very specific kind of effect named after the movie called Rashomon effect. In the modern film called Talwar, uh, Meghna Guljar tried to create Rashomon effect, but she failed miserably. Okay. Then we have the movie Utsav. It was directed by Girish Karnad. It was based on the Sanskrit drama by Sudrak Mrichikatikam. Now, drama was a serious one. While if you watch this movie, the movie has maintained a kind of very light note and a comic effect throughout it. Okay, even the villain Shashi Kapoor played the role of the villain, uh, who was also laughed at. He was not like the characters were not afraid of him. Okay, so the entire movie was presented in a very light manner. So this is the important issue that we have to understand, that when you create an adaptation, you will have to understand that the directors are taking certain stand to read the original book and to create the next step or next text. Okay, and we will have to understand that why these kind of changes are made. Like there are a lot of films in India which are unofficial remakes. Okay, that is, there is one super hit film in other country. So what Indian directors do, they take the entire story and sequence and they Indianize it, and then they present it. So they make Indian film from a foreign film. The good thing is they know that this is a good story, good sequence, and they can make good out of it. But the second part is they will have to adapt to the culture, the native culture of it. So we get a lot of films in India which are official or unofficial remakes of some foreign films. What interests us as a theorist, that which are the changes that the Hindi versions made to fit our society and narrative. So that is this something that we have to remember as a theorist, as a researcher. For example, there was this South Korean film, Old Boy. Okay, Sanjay Gupta's Jinda was an unofficial remake of a South Korean film by Park Chan Wook, and there has been considerable alternation of theme and presentation in Indian version. Okay. Spike Lee has also made an official remake of movie in English. The same South Korean film was remade into English by Spike Lee. But what happens? The major theme of this movie was the incestuous relationship and the revenge for it. Okay, so when that film was made in India, okay, the very idea of incestuous relationship is completely removed. Okay, there is vengeance, there is violence. Okay, but the basic plot was there, basic theme was there, was removed from the Indian version. I cannot comment on the English version because I haven't seen it so far. Uh, but this is the basic change that our director has made, because incestuous relationship is something which is not talked about in Indian narratives. I don't know any of the films in India that talks about this kind of relationship. So that's why, in order to maintain and avoid controversy, the director Sanjay Gupta completely removes that aspect of incest. Then we have a very good Bengali film by Srijit Mukherjee called Raj Kahini. Okay. So Raj Kahini is basically a movie about uh, partition of India and Bangladesh on the border of Bengal. What happened here is, like if you can see the poster, you can see all the major characters, and you can see the cracks, which is a symbol of partition. And the film is very well made, and it is primarily a political film. It's primarily a film about the partisan. But when this same film is made into Hindi, it becomes Begum Jaan. Okay. So even by title, you can understand that there is a huge change. Here it is Raj Kahini, the story of politics, while it becomes Begum Jaan, that is about one person. Okay. So here the thrust is completely on one character and women emancipation, how women fights back. So that entire idea of uh, what we call the pain of uh, the partisan was backgrounded in the Hindi version. Okay. So, and I blame for this failure to Mahesh Bhatt, because he was the what we call advisor of Hindi version of the film. It is made by the same director. Still, there are so many changes. Okay. So this is what we need to understand, that a movie, when it changes its original culture, it comes out of its root, or any text that comes out of its roots, uh, what kind of changes will be affected on the text. Okay, that is what we need to understand. Okay, so that is all I wanted to say today. um, for your exercise, film Paheli, directed by Amol Palekar, was an adaptation of a Rajasthani story by Vijay Dan Detha. The story was also adapted by Mani Kaul, and he made the movie Duvida 1973. Duvida was released in 1973. Check about all three texts, that is Duvida, Paheli, and Vijay Dan Detha's story Duvida, and identify the changes made by the respective directors, and try to identify the reasons behind the changes. I have put the link of Duvida. I haven't got the link of Paheli, but it is a very famous film. You must have watched it, in fact. Okay. So this is your exercise. I'll be sharing. No, the form is already shared by the director, sir. And these are the references that I have talked from.